For more than 6 months now, the coronavirus has scrambled the U.S. economy, boosting some industries and derailing others. Celebrity Jessica Alba has firsthand experience on both sides of that divide. The beauty and home goods business that she launched in 2012, The Honest Company, grew tremendously this year as Americans sought cleaning supplies online. But the world of movies and TV, where she currently stars as a police detective on the show LA's Finest, pretty much ground to a halt. On this episode of Influencers, I speak with Jessica about how her company adjusted after the outbreak, why Hollywood has a long way to go, and whether we'll ever get back to movie theaters. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Influencers. I'm Andy Serwer, and welcome to our guest, Jessica Alba, actress and founder of the consumer goods business, The Honest Company. Jessica, great to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, Jessica, about the business that you started in 2012. Why did you launch The Honest Company, and how has your role changed over the years?
I launched The Honest Company really out of a gap that I identified in the marketplace as a consumer. You know, I grew up, I don't know if you know, but I'll let you know. I grew up with terrible asthma and allergies and many different health complications when I was a child due to my asthma and allergies. And when I was pregnant with my first child at 26 and I had her at 27, I sort of, for the first time, really had to think about my health in a different way. Because obviously I wanted to be healthy for this little person that I was bringing into the world. But then I was like, oh my goodness, what if she shares in having the same type of sensitivities as I have to things? What if she's allergic to stuff the way that I am? And how can I make sure that she has just a better childhood, frankly? Because I would play sports with like a breathing machine hooked to my face and spent had many hospital visits, a lot of scary ER visits. And I was just like, I do not want my kid to have to go through that. And frankly, I don't want to have any other types of complications with my own health now that I have this little person. So I really was trying to put together the safest and healthiest environment for myself and for my child. And just looking at the day-to-day stuff that you interact with, right? Your lotions and shampoos, your detergents, what you wash your dishes with, your laundry, surface sprays, things like that, all the way to what are you putting in, on, and around your child even? What are you washing them in and diapering them in and whatnot? And so when I was just, trying to buy the best products out there, I found that it was nearly impossible to find one brand that met my needs in being transparent and honest about what's inside the product, about really thinking through that health and wellness lens. But there was no brand that was really addressing also efficacy. It's like if something was a better for you, a more natural product, it was like 10 times more expensive and it didn't really work. And I was like, what's up with that, And then every time it felt like I needed to be someone I wasn't. It was really for that more kind of granola person. And I grew up in a city and I've traveled all around the world, and I just have a design aesthetic that's probably a little bit more modern. And so really just like thinking of all of those things. I also went and lobbied for chemical reform because there has been a rise in everything from learning disabilities to obesity, all the way through to cancers, really, that are caused by the environment. And they're environmental disruptors. They're things that you are exposing yourself to that could have health implications. And you've seen the rise of health issues coincide with the industrialization of these chemicals brought into consumer packaged goods. So I was like, once I saw that chart and it really like paralleled and was like a hockey stick, I was like, there's got to be a company that can really meet my needs. And then also I felt like a lot of the marketing and these people are affecting your day to day, and it felt like so disjointed in the way they even talked to me. It was like more, 2 times stronger, bigger, better, da da da, and I was like, I never want to leave that on my counter. It's so ugly. A. B, 2 times stronger, more, power. What is that saying about how it's affecting my health?
Right.
And so I just felt like, how can I take this sort of like nonprofit or charity sort of like values around really wanting to offer healthier, safer, better for you products, and really standing on, let's not use all of these chemicals that are really used in a lot of products every day. So we have chosen not to use 3,000 chemicals, where like in Europe in personal care alone, they have banned about 1,500, right?
Mhm.
And in the United States at the time when I launched the company, there were only 10 chemicals banned,
Right.
even though that they knew that there were over 1,100 8 years ago, 10 years ago, that were deemed unsafe for human health. And so the United States just didn't have the same standards and practices. So I wanted to build a for profit model around a nonprofit issue, really. And then because Black and Brown communities are affected the most when it comes to exposures to um, unnecessary chemicals and how it can affect their health, I really wanted to make sure that I make my products accessible to everyone. So that's why I wanted that direct to consumer, but then also being available at Target, Amazon, Nordstrom, Costco, having an omni channel model.
Right. So very much of a personal project that's become a big business, Jessica, right? And you talked about it being a for-profit business, which makes sense, but it's gotten pretty big. Are you still very hands-on? Are you thinking about taking it public? I'm sure people have tried to buy the company. Where do things stand right now?
Right now, I am very much involved in the day to day with Nick Vlahos. He is a veteran Clorox employee. He's amazing. And he joined me about 3.5 years ago. And we were really looking at how can we really like define us versus, what makes us different, what makes us special. So really having that direct relationship with the consumer, leaning in on content and education. So investing more in just giving people the right relevant content for them to live their better life, making those better choices. And then we also invested in our labs in house. So we're not taking, formulas necessarily off the shelf that everyone has. We're formulating in house at our high standards. And so I've been involved in the day to day with Nick on innovation across multiple product categories. We're winning, Best of Beauty awards left and right from various different publications, again, around super high standards on efficacy, which you just don't see the combination of the more ethical brands and them reaching the efficacy and getting these types of awards.
Right.
And then making our products accessible has been another huge focus of mine. So I am involved in a lot of the day to day. And since the COVID situation outbreak, prior to COVID, we were seeing, over 25% growth with the company, and we've expanded our margin. We're really focused on making sure that we grow the business in a healthy and sustainable way, even when we are expanding into new product categories. And then when looking, around at this, new world that we're all living in, we have that direct relationship with the consumer, and they're asking for better solutions for their families when it comes to disinfecting and sanitizing and whatnot. So we were able to quickly innovate and create a solution for a disinfecting spray, a sanitizing wipe, and obviously we already have our hand sanitizers and masks that you can have for your children or adults. And there's matching ones as well. And really creating like a solution that people can buy. It's super easy, it's seamless, and you can get these kits for your kid if they're, say, going back to school, or you can get it and donate it to your teacher, because teachers have to provide their own safety items, and then also for your own home. So, that's the kind of thing that we're really focused on, is like being very consumer centric, really listening to the needs of people every single day, and expanding our margin and growing the business in a healthy way.
Right. So it's interesting. I was going to ask you about pivoting to more of a COVID orientation in terms of the product line. Sounds like you're doing that. Do you also feel the need, Jessica, to try to dispel misinformation about COVID-19? Does that make it difficult to sell products in the marketplace, given what people are thinking works?
Not really. We've never had any consumers that are asking us to dispel misinformation about COVID. I mean, our consumers are like wanting to wear masks, but being able to wear them in a more delightful way, and trying to bring ease to their lives. I mean, frankly, that also came from me. I have three kids. I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and I couldn't find any masks for them that they would actually wear. What was available were pretty like they were, for people probably, in hospitals whose immune systems are really compromised. And so they were just like not really the most comfortable. They didn't look like something. It was just a lot for my kids to try and get them to wear a mask and to go out into the world in a way that would be safe for themselves and for others. And so I was, as a mom, looking for this solution. And that's really what drives a lot of our innovation, is real world um, challenges and problems that we see out there. And it's like, how can Honest create a viable solution with ease that's available to everyone?
Do you think more companies, Jessica, should operate the way you do, and ethically, I should say, and are capitalism and honesty at odds with each other?
I guess that, I think if we can do anything for business, we can show that you could have a positive impact on the world. You can put health and wellness and sustainability as a value. You can have honesty and transparency as a value. And you could also have a really healthy business that has a great margin, and really grows at a very healthy rate. And we have, chipped away at taking share from big, categories. And I believe the reason why consumers are choosing Honest over others is because we have those values, not in spite of. And another huge aspect of our business is we give back. So we've been able to also embed, and from day one, when I had the first board meeting with our initial VC investors, I said we have to embed this in the model as well. And they were like, that might be stretching it. You guys aren't even launched yet. And I was like, how about this? In 3 months from now, if everyone at this board meeting feels like that's something we should take off the table, then let's talk about it. But I believe that consumers expect companies to have this type of value embedded in the model. And it shouldn't just be a marketing ploy, it should just be who you are. And so, we didn't even market or advertise our give back component. And frankly, we've been able to donate 22 million items to date. We've been able to donate lots of resources, time, money, and even looking at other things that are kind of outside of our baby to baby partnership. which is where we've donated most of our time and money. We looked at the BLM movement. We've looked at maternal health, the maternal health crisis. So we've donated and supported also other organizations and other movements that are important to our culture and community inside of Honest, our employee base. So I think you can actually, and I hope, for anyone who's watching Yahoo Finance, you can have a female founded company that believes in diversity and inclusion. We have diverse leaders. We have women who are leaders at this company. We have a diverse group of people when it comes to race. And you could be profitable. You could have values that people have that they're living every single day. You can also expand your margin. Yes, you can. You don't have to, you know, be this weird upside down business model. Also, if you're direct to consumer, I think that's also something that people don't realize. And so we have been able to prove a direct to consumer relationship, an omni-channel relationship with our retailers, because we just want our products to be available to everyone. And you can have a thriving business. I mean, I really feel like our business is the business of the future. And I hope that, we do continue to um, really have an impact on the way that other companies operate, hopefully in a positive way.
You were talking about honesty, transparency, ethics. A lot of people would say, Jessica, that runs counter to some of the things coming out of the White House these days. And I'm wondering if President Trump makes the way you operate more difficult, or does it actually attract more people to the company as consumers?
I think whoever is in office doesn't necessarily affect the way that we run our business. The way we run our business is independent of politics. It's more of, I guess, there might be a mentality in corporate America that you have to be a cutthroat white middle-aged guy to be successful. And I guess by us, here today and on your channel, and we can show that none of that is true over here. We are the antithesis of all of that, and we're successful, and people are happy.
Um, let's shift gears because you do have another job, right?
I do. I have so many jobs, I feel like.
Well, maybe at least two, but just two just broad categories: businesswoman and actress, right?
Yeah,
Or
actor. Yeah, in entertainment, I'm a
actor, right?
producer and actress. Yes.
Exactly. So, what's going on there? You're in LA's Finest with Gabrielle Union, and um, two diverse leads in that show. Is there enough of that? We need more of that. How's that going? How's Hollywood changing right now, Jessica?
I think, I really took a lot of the values and the discipline, then the convictions, frankly, that I applied to building the Honest Company. And I wanted to apply a lot of those values into LA's Finest when I joined as an executive producer and co-lead with Gabrielle Union. And so we really wanted to show, it's like people think that it's not possible, right? Until they see it. And also for brown and black communities that don't have a lot of representation that is positive in media, in entertainment. You don't see a ton of leaders that are black and brown at the same scale in corporate America or in entertainment, frankly. And certainly women, right? So this gave me an opportunity to go back to the thing that I love. I love telling stories. I started as an actress when I was 12. It is in just like my blood. My family members, they're all performers, and so being able to tap back into that, but to really utilize this platform with Jerry Bruckheimer, who is known for these, very strong, testosterone heavy action franchises, to be able to take that and flip it on its head and put two female leads and a black and a brown woman, and have us still do all the action. You still have all the suspense, you have the comedy, you have all of those things that make that entertainment so great, but you're not seeing two dudes do it. Now you get to see two women. And I think it's just a fresh perspective. And we also, we don't need a man to save us. If anyone's going to save us, we'll save each other. And I think that's just a nice message for men and women to see, that women are completely capable.
Love that. So you mentioned BLM earlier in our conversation, and I'm wondering, Jessica, if you're thinking about, or you and the showrunners thinking about weaving those themes of Black Lives Matter into LA's Finest. I mean, it's right there front and center. They're pretty connected. Have you had those kinds of conversations?
Yeah, we actually explored race in LA in our entire second season. And, we don't shy away from difficult topics and themes, because we actually have Black and brown people in the writer's room as executive producers in positions of power. And it's not just your one token to sort of check that off the list. We have many. And so we have such an incredible, diverse group of people behind the camera and in front. And so when we really were developing this show, we made a concerted effort to bring that perspective that might be left out of a white narrative, right? Trying to tell these types of stories. So from day one, we always infused who we are in the storytelling.
Are you shooting anything right now? I mean, obviously things ground to a halt, but maybe starting to happen a little bit. And have you considered going out and doing some stuff?
I actually launched a YouTube channel because my kids were begging me to for years, and I just never really had time. But COVID gave me an opportunity, and I have a scrappy little, tiny little production company. It's like literally 3 people, and I'm one of the 3. And we've been shooting a ton of content, and just we are continuing to shoot different stuff, and it's really fun. I just joined Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I have this fun ASMR series. Do you know what ASMR is?
Mm.
You should look it up.
I will look it up. Forgive me.
The kids are into it.
Okay, yeah.
But we have this ASMR series that we created and we're co-producing, and it's scary stories. But what's really interesting with this, I guess this post-COVID world and entertainment and the way that people are consuming, I mean, even the way that you're delivering your news is here, right? Online, right. Not necessarily writing an article in a newspaper people are buying, yeah. Right? And so it's also for the kids and the younger generation, they're doing these virtual sleepovers over Zoom or House Party or one of these platforms, and they watch content together and they game together. So I created this scary nightmare stories series with Joseph Gordon-Levitt that kids can watch while they're scary stories to watch while they're doing their virtual sleepovers leading up to Halloween.
And I saw just a little snippet you did with your daughter on Insta, like a little dance move. It was just like a 10-second clip. Was it like
the TikTok?
Was it the TikTok? Yeah. Doing it? Show me how to do that one. Was that like that? No.
No, that was not. I don't know if you should ever do that.
Listen, you're right. I'm just.
What's fun about TikTok, though? I'm sure you haven't been on it yet, but I have to say, what makes me so happy about TikTok is that it really allows everyone. You have, great grandma and grandpa all the way to the kids, and everyone is having a blast on it. It's just such a fun and engaging platform.
Well, we hope it gets shut down.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't either, because it is really fun.
Last question or two here. I know you've got to wrap things up. Movie theater business, is that coming back? Are you concerned about that?
I'm not too concerned. I mean, I think that, the old Hollywood has a kind of a tough time, right? Adjusting they've seen this coming for a good decade, and they were slow to move from the, certainly representation. The Me Too movement really blew up a lot of the kind of old stodgy ways that Hollywood operates. And I think similarly, I think Hollywood just really has been forced to think of the new media and new digital era, and how do you also create experiences around what is a movie night, and how can you create a real experience beyond go and show up at a movie theater. How Just think outside the box. And then if people do want to enjoy entertainment on their phone, no matter where they are, on their iPad, on their computer, on some device at home, it's like, how can you show up and give that to them no matter where they are, instead of creating so much friction? So I think Hollywood will get there. They're just a little slow to, adjust and change, but eventually it'll happen.
And finally, do you, as a successful business person, an actor, do you follow the markets? Do you invest in equities? What's your take on those things?
A little bit, a couple of companies here and there I've invested in. I've joined as well some, and advised. So I'm trying to get more savvy with it. I just feel like there's something so tangible about real estate. And that to me has always been like a sure thing, like if I'm going to put something away and I'm going to look up 10, 20 years from now, will it appreciate, in value and hold its value? And so that's how I've really looked at my largest investments, is around that. But I am really trying to get better with being more comfortable with investing in the stock market.
All right. So for now, it's real estate, not so much stocks. Understood.
Give me some advice.
All right. Well,
what do you think?
Well, that's probably a little more time than we have right now, but I'm happy to bring you up at some point down the road when you have a moment.
That would be great. I'd very much appreciate it.
Excellent.
Do you have a favorite website or app that you recommend for someone who isn't as savvy?
Yahoo Finance, Jessica.
There's a Yahoo Finance app?
There sure is. Thank you for asking.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
You pitched that right down the plate. I hit it right back. So thank
awesome.
you so much.
I'll check it out.
Jessica Alba, founder of The Honest Company and actor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You've been watching Influencers. I'm Andy Serwer. We'll see you next time.